Hello guys, welcome to my presentation. Um, this is going to be going over what it's like to have ASD and have a visual perception um, and what that kind of entails. The music that you're going to be hearing in the background is a song that a patient's parent shared with me. She says that whenever she hears it or listens to it, she feels that this is kind of their perception. This is how it feels to be opportunistic. It's only going to be the instrumental, just so that we'll be able to focus. Um, but I thought it would be nice to add it to my presentation. So, a little bit about me. I am an RBT at Action Behavior Centers. So I come into close contact with not just one, but on my team there's 7, but you can also support teams. So the caseload is looking at 30 kids. I have a wide variety and have experienced many more opportunities with kids and people on the spectrum. So I know a little bit what it's like to have the visual perception with ASD. To my research prior and kind of following in that stigma, I thought a person with ASD didn't have like the same eyesight as we do. I thought it was maybe a little bit more focused in, black, a little bit, more direct rather than having a full 180 visual. I don't know the math of peripherals, but that is not true. We will find later in our research that while what I say is like half true, that they have a visual perception that is more focused. It is much more complex, and it varies with areas of the brain rather than the eye itself. I chose Please Stand By as my visual representation, my video or movie analysis, to kind of show and represent that fixation and that attention to detail that people with ASD have. She is able to identify a language from a movie / show, Klingon from Star Trek. She is able to then translate that into subtitles, has many platforms, makes sure that who she gives it to is going to read it. She won't leave without an answer. It's the fixation. She's very serious about this, and it really begins to show the visual perception with ASD. So enjoy.
Scotty, will you read my movie script for me, please?
Sure.
Will you read it as soon as possible, please?
A movie script's supposed to be this long?
Yes. It's because it's an epic saga. It should be long, highly detailed, thorough. In my script, Spock travels back and forth through time to save the Federation.
Wow, sounds fascinating.
Towards the end, there are a few passages in the Klingon language, but don't worry, there will be subtitles.
Good to know.
Going into my research, I wanted to start my baseline with the DSM-5, just to see what kind of questions I can lead myself into. But as far as visual perception, I didn't find much, just kind of points and suggestions to the individuals with ASD that they may experience visual perception abnormalities, difficulties with visual orientation, exploration, and spatial perception, challenges processing and integrating visual information, and impacting daily life and social interactions. I will get into a very exciting example here in a second. Then I went from that and went to the National Autistic Society. A certain article that I put in my sources showed that people with autism may experience visual perception differently. They might focus on details but struggle to see the bigger picture, be over or under sensitive to light or color or even movement, have difficulty understanding nonverbal cues like facial expressions or body language, see patterns or objects in a more literal or fragmented way, experience visual information overload leading to sensory stress. Coping mechanisms for sensory stress often include headphones that block out all the noise, squeezes to the body to kind of non-verbally present a safe environment, safe body type feel for the patient, or even taking them into a dark room. Certain lights may be overstimulating. I know we have a DJ board that we like to use, and it can't go into an actual certain room for this kid gets overstimulated with the lights. Then I went into a neuroimaging study that looked at facial processing. I struggle to recognize facial expressions, focus less on the eyes and more on other facial features. I thought it was really cool when they got into this that studies show that with artistic ability, that these kids or these people with autism can visually represent their mother and their father by wrinkles on their face directly where they are, hairs in their eyebrows, scars. It was really very interesting. Within this research, I also found that they have trouble recognizing and distinguishing faces, rely heavily on analyzing individual facial features, use compository strategies like verbal cues or context to help with facial processing and social interactions. And the example that I want to get into is a certain kid that I work with. He is 2, so already his verbal communication is low. He's actually a nonverbal patient. So with this research, I've taken it into my work, and I've noticed that when in a loud environment and you have the wrong facial feature, he will go into a behavior targeted for reduction. He will flop on the floor, and he will vocal disrupt. He will yell. That's even if you have the wrong facial feature. If you're not smiling or you don't have a calm face, even a calm tone, this kid will go into behavior. It is all very overstimulating for him, and he doesn't know how to communicate that, which we're actually working on, and it's very, very cool and interesting. He's using a PEX board now, which is just pictures, and he gets to point to them. It's a slow process, but it's working, and we're generalizing facial expressions and emotions, and it's all very exciting because he's getting there, and I could see it in the research that this is what it meant, and I got to bring new ideas and look at those antecedents from his behaviors. It's all very, very cool. Okay, we have made it to my artistic rendering, the best for the last. Truly made by me. I knew going into this that I wanted to add a little bit of everything, starting with the stigma on the black side. I was guilty of this. I considered their point of view to be more fixated and to be more central, while everything around that was dark. But that's not true. A lot of their fixations and how they view things are very specific, and they pay attention to the detail, but they still have the peripherals. It's just how processing works in the brain. Then we go into a normal face. None of my kids have what people think to have a specific look, like kids with Down syndrome, people with Down syndrome, that they have a specific look. None of my kids look the same. There is no facial features or abnormalities within their physical being that distinguishes them from the neurological kid. Every single one of my kids looks different, so I painted a normal face. Then we go into the colors. The colors represent the variety of the spectrum, whether it's their needs, what they're learning, what they're into. It is a very wide spectrum. Again, none of my kids are the same. None of them are into the same things. They communicate differently. They act differently. Their mannerisms, everything. It's all different. So I put every single color of paint that I had onto this color portion. Then we also see that it's unfinished. I believe that research and findings and questions about autism are endless. I mean, the variety of who you can have in a kid is the variety you can have in a question. So I left it unfinished because I believe that research will continue to be unfinished. Thank you.